So in April 1931, scientists actually went out in the pouring rain with a fish seine net and an ear of corn.
Just an ear of corn, yeah.
Right, to gently capture this single plump bird. They banded his legs with aluminum and copper, and then, well, they just let him go.
Knowing with absolute certainty that he was the very last of his kind on Earth. It's just wild.
It really is. And that's exactly what we're looking at today for this deep dive. Welcome, by the way. We're exploring a collection of ornithological reports by Alfredo Gross.
Yeah, spanning from 1923 to 1931, they give you this incredibly meticulous overview of the Heath hen.
Tracing it from just absolute abundance along the East Coast all the way down to that one lone male.
Right, booming out a mating call to a completely empty forest, which is, just so haunting.
It's so haunting. And what's crazy to me is how fast they vanished. Because in colonial times, you would have seen them everywhere.
Oh, yeah, from Maine to the Carolinas.
Yeah.
But they had this behavioral quirk that essentially doomed them.
The open fields thing.
Exactly. Their evolutionary defense was to gather in these wide open spaces so they could, spot natural predators from far away.
Which makes total sense until humans show up with rifles. Then it's basically shooting fish in a barrel.
Right, it's like wearing a high-vis vest in a game of hide-and-seek. Just a tragic mismatch between evolution and human expansion.
So by 1870, they were wiped off the mainland completely.
Completely. Leaving just one incredibly stubborn, isolated population out on Martha's Vineyard.
But they actually rallied for a minute there.
They did. They set up a reservation in 1908, and by 1916, there were an estimated 2,000 birds thriving on the island.
Okay, so a jump to 2,000 birds sounds like a permanent victory. How did that go so wrong? Was it just a single-point failure?
That's exactly what it was. A massive fire swept through the island in May of 1916.
Oh, wow, May. So right during breeding season.
Yeah, and because of that timing, the fire didn't just cull the flock, it specifically killed nesting females who refused to leave their eggs.
Oh, that is brutal. So it wiped out the next generation and totally skewed the sex ratio.
Right, you suddenly had this massive excess of males. And the reports detail the biological fallout of that.
Because the surviving males started aggressively harassing the few remaining females.
Which effectively shut down any successful breeding.
Yeah.
And to make things worse, islanders had brought in domestic turkeys.
And those brought a disease, right? Blackhead.
Yeah, fatal poultry disease.
But wait, how does a farm turkey disease even jump to a wild bird population?
Shared foraging grounds, mostly. The wild birds picked up the parasite from turkey droppings left in the fields.
Ah, gotcha.
And since the Heath hen population had shrunk so drastically after the fire, their gene pool was basically a puddle.
Right, a severe genetic bottleneck.
Exactly. That inbreeding severely weakened their immune systems, so a disease they might have fought off was suddenly fatal.
Which brings us to 1928, where the entire species is reduced to literally just one male.
Just one lone male living on the James Green farm in West Tisbury.
If I'm a conservationist in 1928 looking at that, my first instinct is desperate matchmaking. Did they try bringing in other birds?
They actually did. They weren't purists about the bloodline. They tried introducing the prairie chicken.
Hoping for some kind of hybrid lifeline.
Right, but it completely failed. The imported birds just couldn't adapt to that coastal scrub environment.
Wait, but didn't those comparative studies lead to a pretty massive discovery?
Oh, a huge one. They realized the Heath hen wasn't actually a distinct species at all.
Right, it was genetically just a geographical subspecies of the western prairie chicken.
Exactly, meaning the broader species actually survived elsewhere in the country.
That is a wild twist. But obviously that didn't save our lone male on Martha's Vineyard.
No, it didn't.
So back to 1931, he's out there, he's healthy, puffing up, doing his courtship display alone in an oak tree.
Yeah.
But why not put him in a zoo?
I mean, confinement was heavily considered.
Wouldn't that at least prolong his life?
You'd think so, but scientists knew wild prairie chickens are incredibly susceptible to confinement stress.
Oh, so putting him in a 1930s zoo enclosure probably would have killed him faster.
Almost certainly. Plus, they had a really strict diet relying on that local scrub oak environment.
Got it. So it was a scientific choice to let him live out his days naturally.
A scientific and, honestly, a slightly sentimental choice, yeah.
Wow.
Letting him live free rather than collecting dust in a cage.
For sure. And, over the years, the state spent something like $70,000 trying to save them.
Which was a massive fortune back then.
Right. But taking a step back, what you really learn from these reports is the danger of a single-point failure.
Oh, absolutely. 2,000 birds mean nothing if they all rely on the exact same breeding ground during fire season.
Exactly. It really shows how habitat loss, genetic bottlenecks, and introduced diseases all just stack up until recovery is impossible.
It's a textbook masterclass in how localized populations collapse.
Which leaves you with this final thought to mull over. If the Heath hen was ultimately proven to be just a subspecies of the prairie chicken, does that diminish the tragedy of its loss? Or does it prove that every localized geographic variation of life holds an irreplaceable value in nature?